Our next special guest speaker is incredibly inspiring. She has several accomplishments under her belt, no doubt due to her hard work and determination. She was named in the Forbes list of the 200 most powerful Arab women in 2014.
She was the co-founder of the GCC Institute in Dubai.
She's been a speaker at many high-profile events.
She was a member of the delegation of His Royal Highness, Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, to the United States and France.
She was the captain of Jeddah United women's basketball team, won 2 friendly games versus the Maldives national team, and honestly, there's so many more accomplishments to her name.
In Toastmasters, we lead by example. Our next speaker, she made her own competition to win, to lead by example. Please help us welcome to the stage with a huge round of applause, Miss Lina Almaeena.
Thank you very much. Very honored to be with you here today, the 2025 Toastmasters on this Friday morning in the beautiful and historic city of Jeddah. So looking at the theme of the 2025 Toastmaster, inspiring confidence, one speech at a time, I thought of gathering my journey and sharing it with you in my journey in public speaking. So as a child in the city of Jeddah, my mother worked in the Ministry of Information, and she was one of the producers to a children's program on the 2nd channel, Saudi TV. And I appeared with a group of children as part of the episodes to raise awareness about security tips, how to cross the street, health issues, how to brush your teeth. So these were my first exposure in public speaking. I want to share with you our summer with my parents and my grandparents. We went to London, and I remember one of the main stops that we had to go to was Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park. So Speaker's Corner is an open space that is space about public speaking and dialogue. People talk about different subjects, and some of the speakers, I remember gathering every Sunday with my grandmother, had misconceptions about Islam and the Muslim faith. And I remember my grandmother would say, "Tell them we believe in Jesus." And this is some of the things that I remember, that interacting at the Speaker's Corner at a very young age with my family. In high school, to express myself, my Uncle Tariq helped me establish a magazine called the Jeddah Girls Gazette. And I wrote an article about my dreams as a teenager in Saudi Arabia. What I dreamed of at the age of 17. I dreamed of driving a car. I dreamed of going to the stadium, watching my favorite club. I dreamed of switching on a television and watching a girls' basketball game, seeing women in retail in stores, and many other dreams. After I graduated from university, from high school, I went to the University of New Mexico. And I started majoring in political science, but then I realized that there were no opportunities for women in politics in Saudi Arabia, so I transferred to communication with a minor in French. And one of my public speaking courses was about preparing a persuasive speech. And I remember preparing a speech about capital punishment. I actually got 99 out of 100 in that class. Again, it's all about one speech at a time and building that confidence. When I came back to Saudi Arabia, I started a social entrepreneurship initiative called Jeddah United. It was about inspiring and promoting the culture of sports in the kingdom, especially for women and the youth, at a time where there were very limited activities that was available. So we weren't just there about the sport, we were about building a generation, a strong generation, a positive generation that is psychologically strong. And through that initiative, I appeared with many of my teammates in so many local and international TV channels, CNN, BBC, Arabiya, NBC, to talk about the importance of activity for women and the youth, and also to change stereotypes about Saudi women, about the Arab world, and the Muslim religion. This was at a time where there was no social media, and very difficult. The only information you would be able to find is at a library, or if you were to just watch whatever existed in the media with the various biases that existed. And I want to say that on the years passed by, on the 25th of April 2016, I would say it was one of the most victorious days of my life. That was the announcement of Vision 2030. The vision that was basically enabling 50% of the population. It was about transforming the country. It was about giving opportunities. And one of the objectives of the vision was to increase physical activity from 13% to 40%. And that's exactly what we were doing for the past decade and more. So I felt very validated. In that same year, I was appointed by the royal court to be a member of the Saudi Shura Council. The Saudi Parliament, the highest consultative council, meant that this was my opportunity to voice my opinion, to speak my mind, to talk about the dreams that I wrote about in the 90s when I talked about my dream as a teenager. It's not about driving a car. It was really about driving a country. It was about opening up our borders to the world and making it easy for people to come, for tourists to come to Saudi Arabia and experience the Saudi culture. So many of the things that I spoke about, one of them was to introduce physical activity in the public schools, enabling millions of girls to be active and to be healthy, to open up sports sciences in colleges and create a pool of women leaders who will be able to train the girls and create a healthier society. I voted for the anti-sexual harassment law that actually is, as harsh as it may sound, made Saudi Arabia one of the safest countries in the world by ranking, especially during night. So many of the So many of the objectives that we had for Vision 2030, we have surpassed. So from our target of 40% activation of society, we have reached almost 60% today. For women in the workforce, we have our target was 30% by 2030. We have surpassed it to almost 35%, and so many other numbers that we have surpassed. I had a mentor that told me before I started my term, take your time, even if it takes you a whole year to be able to present your case, it's okay, don't be intimidated. But thinking about the journey that I took, the stops, the experiences, the exposure, I actually spoke in the first session of the council that I was part of. Even though my hands were trembling, but I still was able to say what I had to say, to voice my opinion, to push for change. Ending today's talk, I want to say that I will carry what I heard today, what my preparation, my presenting of this speech today is going to be an accumulation and a build-up to the inspiring confidence and building that confidence, speech by speech, never knowing when the next speech will be and where the wind will take me. Thank you very much for listening.
For DTM Khaja Yurdin to give an appreciation.